Bhagavad Gita, chapter 2, text 13. Dehinosmin yatha dehe kaumaram yauvanam jara tatha dehantara praptir dhirastatra namuhyati. Dehinah, of the embodied, asmin, in this, yatha, as, dehe, in the body, kaumaram, boyhood, yauvanam, youth, jara, old age, tatha, similarly, deha antara, of transference of the body, prapti, achievement, dhira, the sober, tatra, thereupon, na, never, muhyati, is deluded. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami, Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. Translation: as the embodied soul continuously passes in this body from boyhood to youth to old age, the soul similarly passes into another body at death. A sober person is not bewildered by such a change. Please repeat. As the embodied soul continuously passes in this body from boyhood to youth to old age, the soul similarly passes into another body at death. A sober person is not bewildered by such a change. Purport. Since every living entity is an individual soul, each is changing his body every moment, manifesting sometimes as a child, sometimes as a youth, and sometimes as an old man. Yet, the same spirit soul is there and does not undergo any change. This individual soul finally changes the body at death and transmigrates to another body, and since it is sure to have another body in the next birth, either material or spiritual, there was no cause for lamentation by Arjuna on account of death, neither for Bhishma nor for Drona, for whom he was so much concerned. Rather, he should rejoice, for they are changing bodies from old to new ones, thereby rejuvenating their energy. Such changes of body account for varieties of enjoyment or suffering according to one's work in life. So Bhishma and Drona, being noble souls, were surely going to have spiritual bodies in the next life, or at least life in heavenly bodies for superior enjoyment of material existence. So in either case, there was no cause of lamentation. Any man who has perfect knowledge of the constitution of the individual soul, the super soul, and nature, both material and spiritual, is called a dhira, or a most sober man. Such a man is never deluded by the change of bodies. The Mayavadi theory of oneness of the spirit soul cannot be entertained on the ground that the spirit soul cannot be cut into pieces as a fragmental portion. Such cutting into different individual souls would make the Supreme cleavable or changeable against the principle of the Supreme Souls being unchangeable. As confirmed in the Gita, the fragmental portions of the Supreme exist eternally, Sanatana, and are called Shara, that is, they have a tendency to fall down into material nature. These fragmental portions are eternally so, and even after liberation, the individual soul remains the same, fragmental. But once liberated, he lives an eternal life in bliss and knowledge with the personality of Godhead. The theory of reflection can be applied to the Supersoul, who is present in each and every individual body and is known as the Paramatma. He is different from the individual living entity. When the sky is reflected in water, the reflections represent both the sun and the moon and the stars also. The stars can be compared to the living entities and the sun or the moon to the Supreme Lord. The individual fragmental spirit soul is represented by Arjuna, and the supreme soul is the personality of Godhead Sri Krishna. They are not on the same level, as it will be apparent in the beginning of the 4th chapter. If Arjuna is on the same level with Krishna and Krishna is not superior to Arjuna, then their relationship of instructor and instructed becomes meaningless. If both of them are deluded by the illusory energy Maya, then there is no need of one being the instructor and the other the instructed. Such instruction would be useless because in the clutches of Maya, no one can be an authoritative instructor. Under the circumstances, it is admitted that Lord Krishna is the Supreme Lord, superior in position to the living entity, Arjuna, who is a forgetful soul deluded by Maya.
So thank you very much for coming today for our Sunday program. This is our Bhagavad Gita session where we talk about Bhagavad Gita, which is where's the Bhagavad Gita? Anyone? Can just get Bhagavad Gita? I go to my room and bring one. So for those who are not knowing, this is the book which is 5,000 years old. It is there. So for those who have not seen this, so this book, if you see here, this is the Bhagavad Gita. That is 5,000 years old. There's no book older than this book in the whole world. And this book has the talk between Lord Krishna, you can see in the altar there, he's standing there with Srimati Radharani, and his friend Arjuna, you can see here. This happened, as I said, 5,000 years ago in Kurukshetra, about 2.5 hours from Delhi. For those who've been to, from India. So there, that place is still there. You can go and you see where the spot where Krishna actually spoke the Gita, if you go to India. So the message, Arjuna was put into difficulty because there was war declared between the Pandavas, that is him and his brothers, they are called Pandavas, with this cousin brother called the Kauravas. So he had to fight with the Kauravas. So there's a battle going to happen. So before the battle, Arjuna was very perplexed because actually he didn't want to kill his cousin brother. So in that perplexed situation, he did not know what to do and what not to do. So he surrendered as a disciple to Krishna. So in that situation, he's asking Krishna what to do. So the first thing that Krishna spoke, he said that you are not this body, Arjuna. You are spirit soul. Being spirit soul, you are inside the body. Dehino asmin deha kaumaram yavanam jara. That means you are trapped in this body and you are going from boyhood to youth to old age, and then you will similarly die. You understand this point? You can go 11, 22, 47. So you see, these are 9 transformations that the body takes. Everybody, and not only, he says every soul. Anyone who has taken birth, they go through this,
Srimad Bhagavatam 11:22-47. Nisheka garbha janmani balya kaumara yauvanam vayo madhyam jara mrityur ityavasthastanor nava. Impregnation, gestation, birth, infancy, childhood, youth, middle age, old age, and death are the 9 ages of the body.
I don't know, you have seen, we have a model of that there. Can you just carry it here? And so you can see this model has been a very interesting model. When I was in America, I was displaying that, and people just stopped to see it, you see, because it presents what actually life is all about, that many of them just overlook or don't think about. Can you bring up your? It's been there and nobody noticed it, because I think everyone put the bag and everything there. So you see this, you want to, you can hold up. Right? See this? You see this picture? So this is the model of how the body goes from boyhood to youth, and first starts as a baby, yeah. Then it grows and finally dies, yes. And that's not the end, actually, As Krishna said, and when he dies, he goes to another body. He goes to another body. Yes. So this thing is going on, and we have also taken so many births. This is not our only birth, and it is very painful. They may write in the obituary, he died peacefully. But there's no peace in the death. I show you here in another verse. 6:10, 6:10:3. 6:10:3. 6:10:3. Yeah. You see here,
अपिवृन्दारकायूयं न जानीथ शरीरिणां संस्थायां यस्त्वभिद्रोहो दुःसहश्चेतनापः. O elevated demigods, at the time of death, severe unbearable pain takes away the consciousness of all living entities who have accepted material bodies. Don't you know about this pain?
see, this is what happens at death. Of course, no one has died and came out and said, look, I went. So how to know about this? The best way to know is from God himself. So he's saying that this is what happens at the time of that pain. It says here, unbearable pain that takes away the consciousness of the living. That means the person gets so much pain that he blanks out. Right? You see? So you see how death is very, very painful. And we have taken birth now. I think it's 227. Yes?
Rebirth again, right?
Birth
again. जातस्य हि ध्रुवो मृत्युर्ध्रुवं जन्ममृतस्य च तस्मादपरिहार्यर्थे न त्वं शोचितुमर्हसि. One who has taken his birth is sure to die, and after death, one is sure to take birth again. Therefore, in the unavoidable discharge of your duty, you should not lament.
So you see here, one who has taken birth, that is sure. So one who has died, then birth is also assured. You understand this? So you see, this whole process, as Krishna said, is very painful. Not only death is painful, even birth is painful. I'm sure those who are mothers, they will know also. So birth and then immediately death, painful. Not only that, then there's disease. It's also very painful. And of course, old age is not fun. I'm experiencing now, I'm getting old. So the question is how to stop this? How to stop it? See, it is an endless process. One who has taken birth is going to die, one who has died is taking birth. And this way, it is going on and on and on and on in the cycle. And it is, as I said again and again, it is not nice. You follow? So the whole process, especially being human being, we are given this facility how to stop it altogether. How to stop it. So that is the process Krishna is speaking about. that how to stop this cycle of birth, death, old age, disease. See? Can you go to 11, 20, 14? So in this human body, you see here,
एतद्विद्वान् पुरामृत्योर् अभवाय घटेतसः अप्रमत्त इदं ज्ञात्वा मर्त्यम् अप्यर्थसिद्धिदम्. A wise person, knowing that although the material body is subject to death, it can still award the perfection of one's life, should not foolishly neglect to take advantage of this opportunity before death arrives.
so the purpose of human life is to find a solution of this problem. It's not so much of trying to become a rich man and buy the biggest whatever asset and this and that. The real purpose of human life is to prepare for death. Okay? Because this can only be done in the human platform. In the body of an animal or a bird or a fish or whatever, no, they cannot do that. That's why this human birth is very rare. You see? Can you go? 11, 2, 30, 29. You see, the human life is said here, very, very rare.
दुर्लभो मानुषो देहो देहिनां क्षणभङ्गुरः तत्रापि दुर्लभं मन्ये वैकुण्ठप्रियदर्शनम्. For the conditioned souls, the human body is most difficult to achieve and it can be lost at any moment. But I think that even those who have achieved human life rarely gain the association of pure devotees who are dear to the Lord of Vaikuntha.
Next verse.
अत आत्यन्तिकं क्षेमं पृच्छामो भवतो नघाः संसारेऽस्मिन् क्षणार्धोऽपि सत्सङ्गः सेवधिर्नृणाम्. Therefore, O completely sinless ones, I ask you to kindly tell me what the supreme good is. After all, even a half a moment's association with pure devotees within this world of birth and death is a priceless treasure for any man.
So to find out the answer, how to escape this, we need to go to somebody who is, need to go to God. Of course, God has the answers, yes. Or somebody who is very close to God. That's why we have to go to a spiritual master called Guru. See? So this person who is a realized soul, he can give you the knowledge how to go back to Krishna and get the answers to solve this material problem. Otherwise, it's very, very difficult. Because being in the human platform, we are going through this so many births, 11, 22, 10. We are going through so many times this knowledge is obscured. We cannot figure this out. You see?
अनाद्य विद्या युक्तस्य पुरुषस्यात्मवेदनं स्वतो न संभवादन्यस्तत्त्वज्ञो ज्ञानदो भवेत्. Because a person who has been covered by ignorance since time immemorial is not capable of effecting his own self-realization, there must be some other personality who is in factual knowledge of the absolute truth and can impart this knowledge to him.
So see, this is how we are now stuck and we are actually ignorant. We don't know. So in this ignorance, we get very bewildered, confused, disturbed. So whenever we have relatives or family members passing away, it makes us or puts us in very difficult position. We are becoming very much concerned. We don't know. And the fact actually is, although we see someone leaving the body, but inside us we think we are not going to die. You see this point? It is so bewildering. Can you go? 7 to 57.
अहन्यहनि भूतानि गच्छन्ति हयमालयं शेषाः स्थावरमिच्छन्ति किमाश्चर्यमतः परम्. Hundreds and thousands of living entities meet death at every moment, but a foolish living being nonetheless thinks himself deathless and does not prepare for death. This is the most wonderful thing in this world.
See this? Every day, so many dying. Father may die, son may die, but still he thinks that, no, I am not going to die. This is the most mysterious thing. This is actually spoken by Yudhishthira to Yamaraj. You know, he asked this question, what is the most mysterious, the wonderful thing? And he said this. See? So now I'm going to let you, of course, I'm saying so many things about that. If you also need an answer, right? How to escape it, correct? Yes? So now I'm going to explain to you what happens at the death. See? What happens at that? Okay, can you go? 10:142. So this is how it happens, you see, at the point of death. Look.
यतो यतो धावति दैव चोदितं मनो विकारात्मकमापपञ्चसु गुणेषु माया रचितेषु देह्यसौ प्रपद्यमानः सह तेन जायते. At the time of death, according to the thinking, feeling and willing of the mind, which is involved in fruitive activities, one receives a particular body. In other words, the body develops according to the activities of the mind. Changes of body are due to the flickering of the mind, for otherwise the soul could remain in its original spiritual body.
So the most important thing that see in our body, there are 5 elements, you know. This body has got, can you go 7:4? Earth, water, fire, air, ether. This body, everybody's body is made like that. And that is called the gross body. Then in this gross body, there's 3 subtle things that you cannot see, like your mind. Everybody have a mind, right? And you have the intelligence, and you have ego. So these 3 things you cannot see, but it is there in your body. Yes? So together, the gross and subtle body are considered this body. And they are senses, yes, and they are object of the senses. And the mind is the chief of all these senses. So what you think of at the time of death, let's say I think of my dear wife. So next birth, I will take next birth and get the body of a woman. See, that's how this transformation happens. See? Suppose I think of my dear dog. Many people are fond of keeping dogs, no? Yeah? Yes? So what will happen to my consciousness at the time of death? What happens? Huh? Nothing happens. What happens? I will get a body of a dog. Yes? You see, it is all based on the mind. You understand? There is a story about a king who thought of a deer and he subsequently ended up as I think it is in 5:18, 14, 15. You go to 15, 5:18, 15. So here you see how the person becomes an animal because he was thinking of his pet deer. See?
This is not 5.
5:18, 15?
No.
Oh, 5, okay. Go 5:12, 5:12, 15.
My dear heroic king, due to my past sincere service to the Lord, I could remember everything of my past life even while in the body of a deer. Because I am aware of the fall down in my past life, I always keep myself separate from the association of
I think
ordinary
it's
men.
14. You got to go 1 verse up.
In a previous birth, I was known as Maharaj Bharat. I attained perfection by becoming completely detached from material activities through direct experience, and through indirect experience, I received understanding from the Vedas. I was fully engaged in the service of the Lord, but due to my misfortune, I became very affectionate to a small deer, so much so that I neglected my spiritual duties. Due to my deep affection for the deer, in my next life, I had to accept the body of a deer.
See that? You cannot say this is fictitious because there's deers, right? There's mind, yes, and there's death. Yes. So this is how you go to the next body. So the very important element is the mind. That's why Krishna also said, your mind can be your best friend or it can be your worst enemy. So how it does become your best friend and how it becomes your worst enemy? How? So if you use your mind to think of the Lord, 8-5, and then you go back to God, finish. When you go back to God, that his place is called Vaikunta. I don't know, have you heard the name Vaikunta? Kunta means anxiety, birth, death, old age, disease. That's called Kunta. And why Kunta means there's a place where there is no birth, no death, no old age, no disease. So you see here in this verse,
अंतकाले च मामेव स्मरन् मुक्त्वा कलेवरं यः प्रयाति समद्भावं याति नास्त्यत्र संशयः. And whoever at the end of his life quits his body remembering me alone, at once attains my nature. Of this there is no doubt.
So one who thinks of God at the time of death, he goes to the kingdom of God. What is that? You can see in other words, 4:9.
जन्म कर्म च मे दिव्यमेवं यो वेत्ति तत्त्वतः त्यक्त्वा देहं पुनर्जन्म नैति मामेति सोऽर्जुन. One who knows the transcendental nature of my appearance and activities does not, upon leaving the body, take his birth again in this material world, but attains my eternal abode, O Arjuna.
See that? So he goes to the eternal abode of the Lord, 15:6. And this abode of the Lord, once you go, you don't come back again. No more return. You see, in this place is called Martya Loka. Martya Loka means place of birth and death. Whereas the spiritual world is a place there's no death. See here?
न तद्भासयते सूर्यो न शशाङ्को न पावकः यद्गत्वा न निवर्तन्ते तद्धाम परमं मम. That supreme abode of mine is not illumined by the sun or moon, nor by fire or electricity. Those who reach it never return to this material world.
See that? So this information how to stop this cycle of birth and death. That means we have to keep our mind focused onto the Supreme Personality of God. So if you can think of God, especially at the time of death, you can go 12:3:44. See what happens if you do this. You see here?
यन्नामधेयं म्रियमाण आतुरः पतन् स्खलन् वा विवशो गृह्णन् पुमान् विमुक्तकर्मार्गल उत्तमां गतिं प्राप्नोति यक्ष्यन्ति न तं कलौ जनाः. Terrified, about to die, a man collapses on his bed. Although his voice is faltering and is hardly conscious of what he is saying, if he utters the holy name of the Supreme Lord, he can be freed from the reaction of his fruitive work and achieve the supreme destination. But still, people in the age of Kali will not worship the Supreme Lord.
So you see, if he utters the name of the Lord, especially at the time of death, he goes back to the Supreme. So it's very easily said, because the mind is not easily controlled. It's not easily. Everybody can say that, even what to speak. Arjuna also said, Chanchala. He said this, you see, Arjuna, who is with Krishna, also so close together as a friend, he himself is saying, see what is he saying?
अर्जुन उवाच योऽयं योगस्त्वया प्रोक्तः साम्येन मधुसूदन एतस्याहं न पश्यामि चञ्चलत्वात् स्थितिं स्थिराम्. Arjuna said, O Madhusudana, the system of yoga which you have summarized appears impractical and unendurable to me, for the mind is restless and unsteady. Chanchalam hi manah Krishna pramathi balavad dridham tasyaham nigraham manye vayoriva sudushkaram. The mind is restless, turbulent, obstinate, and very strong, O Krishna, and to subdue it, I think, is more difficult than controlling the wind.
See this? Everybody knows mind is very difficult. Yes? Correct? But there is a special, what we say, blessing of the Lord. If you call on Him by chanting this mantra, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram. This mantra is called Maha Mantra. There are many mantras, but this particular mantra is called the Maha Mantra. That means the topmost mantra. So when you chant this mantra, your mind can be easily be subdued. Easily be. You can make an experiment. It's free for everybody. And if you chant this, when your mind is brought to be focusing on the Lord, and there's a good chance when you leave your body, if you remember just the Hare Krishna mantra, then you are free, then you go back to Krishna. Finish. Not only you go back, this is another amazing thing about this chanting, is that you take along with you 21 generations of your forefathers, 21 generations of your children, grandchildren, like this. Just by you, one person, opening the mouth and saying, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Ram, Hare Ram. I mean, look, it's a big deal, is it not? Correct? There's so many forefathers, you don't know where they are. Yes? Unless you are thinking, this person I don't want to save. But I'm sure you have a kind heart. You want to save everybody. Yes? So it is very simple. In this Kali Yuga, this is the method. There is no other way, actually. You can experiment. In fact, it is already declared. It is already declared. You can see here in this verse. Everyone can chant along. Huh?
Hare Nama, Hare Nama,
Hare Nama, Hare Nama,
Hare Nama eva kevalam,
Hare Nama eva kevalam,
Kalau nastyeva nastyeva,
Kalau nasteva nasteva,
nastyeva gatiranyatha.
Nasteva gatiranyatha.
In this age of quarrel and hypocrisy, the only means of deliverance is chanting the holy name of the Lord. There is no other way, there is no other way, there is no other way.
See that point here? There is no other way. See? On the contrary, if you chant, very quickly you will be able to see the Lord. Somebody thinks that Lord is who can see Him. Nobody knows. No. It says here. You see in this verse, He says, very quickly you will be able,
14.
772. 73 actually. 773.
Krishna mantra hoite hobe samsara mochan, Krishna nama hoite pabe Krishna racharan. Simply by chanting the holy name of Krishna, one can obtain freedom from material existence. Indeed, simply by chanting the Hare Krishna mantra, one will be able to see the lotus feet of the Lord.
See? Of course, I am just speaking, I have only a short time now, but this subject is very lengthy. Now, I have spoken to you the advantage of this. I have not said about what happens if you don't want to do this. There's always two sides of a coin, I don't have the time for that. But I recommend you to read the book, Bhagavad Gita, or you can always come back to our online classes. We have online classes, and we have also, you can also come here and talk to the devotees. And in this way, you can get a lot of knowledge, because this knowledge is essential. And that will strengthen your faith. When this, through knowledge, your faith is strengthened, then you get the strength. You understand? You can see, if you don't do this, you see in this verse, 9:3.
Those who are not faithful in this devotional service cannot attain me, O conqueror of enemies. Therefore, they return to the path of birth and death in this material world.
So if you don't want to do this, then naturally you have to go back to the cycle of. And now there's no guarantee that you can come back again as a human being, because there are 8.4 million species. There are 900,000 in fishes, and then you have got 2 million kind of trees, 1.1 million reptiles, snakes, insects. You got about 1 million birds, and you got 3 million quadruples, and you only have 400,000 human species. This is the breakdown. Huh? It's not my speculation, it's coming from the scriptures. So, if you are not careful, then there is a chance that you may slip down to other lower births, which is very dangerous. Can you imagine yourself running around like a crocodile? That's going to be painful. Or you go to your toilet and you see so many cockroaches. Would you like to join them? Think about it. It's dangerous. So therefore, Krishna says finally, he says this, 1866. He just said this, very simply he said that.
सर्वधर्मान् परित्यज्य मामेकं शरणं व्रज अहं त्वां सर्वपापेभ्यो मोक्षयिष्यामि मा शुचः. Abandon all varieties of religion and just surrender unto me. I shall deliver you from all sinful reactions. Do not fear.
This Krishna is giving the assurance. If you just chant my name, I will take care. I will what? Clear you of all your sins. And I will take you home back to God. And he put the word, do not fear. That means there's no question of what? Could be, might be, no. Understand? He is giving the assurance. You surrender and you chant, nothing much. Just open the mouth and say what? Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama. All is set. Everything is done. This is assurance of Lord Krishna. In fact, one verse before that, you see what he's saying.
Manmana bhava madbhakto madhyaji mam namaskuru mame vaishyasi satyam te pratijane priyosi me.
The word satyam te, I'm sure among yourselves, I promise you, you say to your friend, right? I promise you that he is also promising us, you see.
Always think of me, become my devotee, worship me and offer your homage unto me. Thus you will come to me without fail. I promise you this because you're my very dear friend.
See that? So Krishna is promising, Krishna is assuring, Krishna is declaring. All we need to do, take advantage. Yes, body is given by him, all the senses are given by him, yes, unless you're dumb. You just have to chant. Anytime, any place, anywhere. No hard and fast rules. Even a child also can do it. Other kind of yoga, you have to have some maturity. A child can't do all this stretching and all that, right? Not possible. So, but this, anyone could. In fact, there are incidents where animals also did and they went back to God. Okay? Because Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is God himself, he could do that. So, okay, I'm short of time actually. The subjects are very lengthy, but I just try to summarize for you so that you can at least understand what is the solution. There is a problem, that is a problem, yes, and there is a solution. What is the solution? And if you can just remember that, your life is successful. Not only successful when you're going to die only. Even now, if you're taking up the process, this process is so powerful that just by remembering Krishna and chanting, you get all kind of assets and facilities. Krishna says, for my devotee, I carry what he lacks and I preserve what he has. My devotee, Krishna also said, declared boldly, my devotee will never perish. So you see how much Krishna is protecting from now until we go back to the spiritual. Not that chanting is only for fun. at the time of death. No, it is for every moment of life. Because you have God with you, then what's the problem? Any problem? Huh? Because if you have God, then you have got peace, 266. See? If you have God with you, then you also get peace. And peace is such an important factor in our life. You cannot do anything if you are not peaceful. See?
नास्ति बुद्धिरयुक्तस्य न चायुक्तस्य भावना न चा भावयतः शान्तिरशान्तस्य कुतः सुखम्. One who's not in transcendental consciousness can have neither a controlled mind nor steady intelligence, without which there is no possibility of peace. And how can there be any happiness without peace?
Is that? Yes. Everybody wants home, sweet home, Yeah? Everyone is there home, unsweet home. Nobody likes that. Right? Everybody wants a sweet home. Yes, and that can only come if we keep Krishna in the center. Okay, so thank you very much. I think we're going to have the kirtan now, Arati and the kirtan. And after that, we will go up.